Welcome to the garden. Today I'm going to be repotting this giant aloe. And what I'm really after is this smaller variety in the middle. I actually removed these at one point, but I must have left behind a little pup or a little piece of root even. And you can see they're actually starting to spread. But in order to separate these properly, I'm going to have to remove the entire plant from this pot. There's actually 3 of these massive pale blue aloes. Because of its massive size, I'm doing this outdoors on a tarp. You can maybe tip them over if we're careful. It's okay if we damage a couple of the leaves. It's not a huge deal. In fact, I kind of want a few leaves for an experiment. I heard you can use aloe as a rooting hormone, so I might try that as well. I'm not sure which of these roots are from the smaller variety or the larger variety, so I think I'm just gonna have to divide them all. So I'm just gonna gently tease apart the soil a little bit, see if I can isolate these plants. I'm gonna try not to break those roots. Not only would that damage the plant, but it might leave some behind and they could re-sprout again. Guess I'll have to be a little bit more aggressive here. Okay. We're going to be separating these into a brand new container. It looks like we might have broken off a root here. I'm going to try to trace that back if I can. But we'll just set these aside for now. They don't need to be repotted immediately. They can even survive a couple days out of the soil. I may have to just break these apart. Okay, making some good progress here. Yeah, look at that. All right, that'll help. So we've got the 2 big blue ones over here and maybe a couple little ones down underneath. But most of the smaller variety is right here. So again, I want to kind of isolate them. Gosh, look at the size of this plant. This thing is huge. You can really easily tell these apart because these ones are a little bit brighter green and they have those spots. So I'm assuming that's what this is, but it looks like it might even be attached. So I'm just gonna break it off just in case. Boy, is that ever strong. Come on, little guy. But it looks a lot more like this variety than the big blue one. I'll just flip it over to see what we're looking at here. Ooh, look at this. Looks like a brand new little pup. Again, I don't know if this is attached. And since we really don't need another giant blue aloe, I'm just gonna remove it. So I think this one is done. Man, that is a huge plant. That is so cool. And these 2 look like they still have a couple little, oh, okay. That one was even scrunched a little bit. Just digging around to see if I can find any more little volunteer pups. I don't see any. Wow, these things are huge. They gotta weigh like 20 pounds. Wait, what's this? Oh, okay, that's just a leaf. I think we might have damaged that leaf. So I'm gonna reuse this potting soil. I'm just gonna filter out any roots so that we don't accidentally get any volunteers again. I'm just starting with a little bit of soil at the base. And normally for an aloe this size, I would use a terracotta pot, but this is nice and low and wide, so it's inherently stable. Because aloe can get really top heavy. But we'll situate them nice and low. I'm gonna try to pack them in just like they were. Oop. See, there we go. Top heavy already. But I do think this is a good container for this massive aloe. Oof. Dang. Look at the size of these plants. That's amazing. They're just beautiful. So I'm gonna get them upright and fairly compact, nice and close together. And then as we backfill it around, that should hopefully settle them in. I got a great tip from someone in the comments about how aloe likes to sit for maybe a couple days to acclimate to its new container. So we're just gonna let it sit for a while before we water it in. I really want to backfill in around the edges especially, so that the plants are kind of leaning towards the center. That way they're not going to be splaying out and falling apart and weighing the container down. And we'll give that a tap to settle it. You know, I might even bind these too to keep them nice and centered. I picked out this nice little yellow container for our smaller variety. And I'm going to start by just layering in our plants, just in an empty pot. So again, I'm going to keep them in the center and then backfill in around the edges, just reusing that same potting soil. It's just a really cheap potting mix with extra perlite for drainage. We'll toss this one in there too, that little crumpled one. Look at that little thing. It was growing right up into the giant aloe. Just got squished. That's funny. So I'll settle that in, reposition this one up front so that it's not buried too deep. There we go. And just like our larger aloe, I'm gonna let this sit for maybe 2 or 3 days before I water. And they really don't need water right away. They have plenty stored up in those succulent leaves. So we just want them to acclimate and get settled in their new pot. It's now just been a couple days. I wanted these to sit, settle, acclimate to their new pot. You can see I did end up binding these with a little bungee, which we can remove now. They actually held their place really well. So I think that really worked. And the little one down here looks really nice. So we can go ahead and water these in now. I'm gonna clean up the leaves as well. You can see just how well it repels water. Isn't that just amazing? It's like it's impossible to get it wet. So pretty quick little video for today, but I hope you picked up some tips for your garden. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.